Something inside you has been shifting, and you can feel it in ways you can't fully explain. It's not loud, but it's powerful, like a quiet click in your mind that says, "I'm not the same person anymore." This is the moment when spiritual awakening stops being a concept and becomes a lived experience. When higher consciousness stops sounding like an idea and starts showing up in your daily reactions. When you stop trying to fit into the world and start noticing the world rearranging itself around your awareness. And the strange part? It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels subtle. Subtle enough to doubt, but strong enough to disrupt everything you thought you understood about yourself. The things you used to tolerate feel heavy now. The conversations you once enjoyed feel empty. The people you once admired feel unfamiliar. You can't pinpoint what changed, but you know deep down something is rising inside you. Many people misinterpret this shift as burnout or personality change. But chosen ones, awakened thinkers, people stepping into their next level of clarity, they recognize it differently. They understand it as the first and often uncomfortable stage of stepping into quiet leadership. Leadership based not on a title, but on presence. Influence that comes not from power, but from depth. Guidance that flows not from authority, but from understanding. This video will help you confirm what's happening inside you and show you how these subtle internal changes are the early signs that you're becoming a spiritual leader in your own world. Not a public figure, not someone standing on a stage, but someone who shapes other people just by the way you exist. By the end of this video, you'll understand the transformation you're going through, why your energy feels different, and what this new version of you is preparing for. Let's go deeper. It begins when your awareness becomes sharper than your reactions. You start noticing things you once overlooked. Tone, patterns, emotional tension in the air. You can sit in a conversation and feel the difference between someone's words and their intention. Not because you're analyzing, but because your instincts are waking up. You read energy in a room the way some people read text messages. This clarity isn't something you asked for, but it's something you're growing into, and it's one of the first signs that you're rising to a quiet form of leadership. Your patience becomes selective. You no longer get pulled into every argument, every misunderstanding, every chaotic moment. You start choosing mental peace like it's oxygen. You don't react to every opinion about you. You don't chase validation from people who don't understand you. You let situations unfold without trying to control them. That shift alone builds a gravity around you. People naturally trust the one who doesn't lose themselves in chaos. You begin protecting your inner world more than your outer image. You care less about looking right and more about being aligned. You stop bending your personality just to be liked. You stop watering yourself down for comfort. You start moving with intention instead of impulse. It's a subtle power, the kind that doesn't need to be announced. Your solitude becomes meaningful. It stops feeling like isolation and starts feeling like preparation. You sit with your thoughts differently. You don't run from discomfort, you examine it. You don't escape your emotions, you learn from them. You don't fear silence, you use it to hear yourself clearly. This kind of solitude becomes the training ground of every spiritual leader, where clarity is sharpened and self-trust is built. You begin to sense misalignment quickly. People's masks become transparent. Their motives become readable. Their emotional patterns become predictable. You know when someone is being honest, when they're projecting, when they're pretending, when they're confused. You can see what's driving them even if they can't. This isn't judgment, it's awareness. And awareness is a trait of someone stepping into deeper leadership. Your responses shift. You stop explaining yourself endlessly. You stop trying to convince people to understand you. You stop fighting for spaces where your energy is clearly not welcome. You start walking away from anything that costs your peace. That quiet exit is a sign of maturity, and maturity is magnetic. Your intuition becomes louder. You feel things before they happen. You notice red flags you once ignored. You sense opportunities before they become visible. You trust your internal signals instead of waiting for external confirmation. This intuition becomes your internal compass, and others start noticing that your decisions are often accurate, well-timed, and calmer than most. People begin opening up to you, sometimes without meaning to. Something about your presence makes them feel seen, even if they don't know why. They tell you things they don't tell others. They ask you questions they never ask anyone else. They sense that you listen without judging, and that makes you a safe space. Leadership is often born from this quiet safety, the feeling that your presence gives people clarity. Your emotional intelligence expands. You recognize when someone is hurting but hiding it. You notice when someone is angry, but really just afraid. You understand when someone's rudeness has nothing to do with you. You start seeing the layers behind people's behavior. This gives you an almost instinctive ability to respond in ways that de-escalate rather than amplify. People feel guided around you without you needing to give advice. Small things begin bothering you less. The more grounded you become, the less the little things matter. You don't get annoyed by things that used to send you over the edge. You handle inconveniences with calmness. You don't internalize setbacks. This emotional steadiness makes people trust you more than you realize. You stop needing to be understood. A powerful sign of spiritual leadership is when you no longer crave validation for your growth. You understand that not everyone can meet you at your level of awareness. You allow people to misunderstand you without feeling the need to defend yourself. That's the quiet confidence of someone who knows where they're going. Your past no longer feels like a burden. You stop carrying your history as a weight. You begin carrying it as wisdom. Everything you lived through becomes a lesson. You stop resenting the pain that shaped you. You start using it as guidance for your next chapter. That transformation, turning wounds into clarity, makes you someone who naturally leads others out of their emotional fog. You begin recognizing patterns in your own behavior. You see why you react the way you do. You see the beliefs that shaped your choices. You become aware of your old defense mechanisms, and instead of feeling ashamed, you start adjusting them with precision. This level of self-awareness is rare, and rare qualities often become leadership qualities. Your priorities shift dramatically. You stop chasing noise and start craving meaning. You stop investing in surface-level connections and start valuing depth. You choose experiences that align with your growth rather than impressing others. Every decision you make begins shaping a new identity, an identity that inspires the people who watch you evolve. You start feeling responsible for your energy. You stop walking into rooms unconsciously. You start being aware of the effect you have on people. You become intentional about how you speak, how you show up, how you react. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you recognize the influence your presence carries. Your patience with superficial behavior dissolves. You no longer tolerate manipulation, guilt-tripping, or emotional shortcuts. You don't entertain people who waste your time. You don't tolerate conversations that drain your energy. These boundaries form naturally, and boundaries are the backbone of leadership. Your confidence becomes quiet. It's no longer loud, boastful, or attention-seeking. It becomes a steady hum beneath your actions. You no longer need to announce your value. You move like someone who knows it. You stop rushing your journey. You stop comparing your path to others. You stop forcing outcomes. You start trusting timing. This trust doesn't make your life easier. It makes your mind calmer. And calm minds make clear decisions. You begin recognizing your influence. You notice people imitate your calmness. You see friends adopt your habits. You see coworkers mirror your communication style. Without trying, you become the emotional thermostat in your environment. People adjust to your energy, not the other way around. And the most powerful shift of all, you feel a deeper purpose rising inside you, even if you can't articulate it yet. You know you're meant for more self-awareness, more impact, more growth. You can sense that your life is moving towards something bigger, something more aligned, something that requires this upgraded version of you. That's what becoming a spiritual leader feels like. Not dramatic, not glamorous, subtle, quiet, internal, but unmistakably powerful. You don't become a spiritual leader by seeking attention. You become one by becoming the most grounded version of yourself, by growing through experiences instead of shrinking from them, by choosing understanding over reaction, by stepping into your identity with courage, even when no one else fully understands it yet. Your transformation is not random. It's not accidental. These shifts you're feeling, the clarity, the boundaries, the calmness, the solitude, the intuition, they're signs that your inner world is evolving faster than your outer world. And when that happens, leadership becomes a natural side effect. Your next step is simple: keep rising. Keep choosing depth. Keep listening to the signals within you. Keep trusting the part of you that knows you're becoming someone more aligned, more aware, and more powerful. If this connected with you, thank you for watching until the end. Your journey means more than you realize. Like and subscribe, not out of routine, but because this space is built for people evolving just like you. You're not alone on this path, and this is only the beginning of who you're becoming.